Have you ever had that feeling that you're being watched? And when you look to the side, there he is, your cat, staring at you intensely, almost hypnotically? Yep, if you have a cat, you know how deep, mysterious, and sometimes even a little intimidating, that gaze can be. But what is your cat really trying to say with that look? Is it just curiosity, affection? Or is there something more behind this classic feline behavior? In today's video, I'm going to tell you what your cat's gaze really means, and I'm going beyond that. I'll explain 7 different signals you can pick up on just by watching their eyes. And trust me, after this video, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. So stick with me until the end, because the last point includes a fun fact that's going to blow your mind. And while your cat is probably right next to you right now, either staring at you or sleeping in some weird position, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because here we talk about everything in the feline universe, with information, love, and that special touch of humor that only true cat lovers understand. Oh, and drop a comment below if your cat gives you that piercing stare too, because I want to hear your stories. Now, let's get straight to it. Your cat's gaze isn't just a beautiful expression. Cats mainly communicate through body language, and their eyes play a huge role in that. Number 1. Feline interest and curiosity. When a cat stares at you, it could be trying to convey many different messages. One of the most common is attention or interest. It's watching you closely, maybe waiting for food, affection, or simply trying to understand what you're doing. This intense gaze often indicates that your cat is fully immersed in whatever you're doing, like a curious spectator. Yes, cats are extremely curious and detail-oriented. They have the ability to focus for long periods of time on objects, movements, or even on us, their owners. They investigate their environment with almost scientific precision. This curiosity isn't just about what you're doing, but also about everything around them. So, when your cat stares at you intently, it could be analyzing your actions, changes in your behavior, or even trying to figure out how you'll respond to certain situations. Additionally, this curiosity isn't just about understanding what's happening. For cats, it's also a way of feeling secure. When they feel comfortable with you, this observation becomes a form of interaction and connection, almost as if they're saying, "I'm here, I'm paying attention to you, and I trust you to guide me in this environment." In other words, your cat's attentive gaze is a window into its world and may be revealing more about how it feels in the moment. It's not just about watching you, but about connecting and trying to understand what's going on around them, especially when you're involved. Number 2. Love in the form of a blink. Another possible interpretation of your cat's gaze is the demonstration of affection. That's right. When a cat stares at you and then blinks slowly, it's saying, in a silent and affectionate way, "I trust you." This famous cat eye blink is considered, among experts, as a true feline kiss. It might seem like a simple gesture, but it carries a profound meaning, full of nuances that reveal the trust and bond between you and your cat. Cats, by nature, are more reserved animals, and unlike dogs, they don't typically show affection in an exuberant or obvious way. They prefer to maintain some distance until they feel completely safe. That's why the cat blink is one of the purest and most sincere forms of affection they can offer. When your cat looks you in the eyes and does that gentle, slow blink, it's telling you that you're part of their circle of trust. This gesture, at its core, is a way of showing vulnerability, something that, for an independent and territorial animal like a cat, doesn't happen easily. This behavior is a form of communication that cats use to say, "I'm not afraid, and I'm comfortable by your side." It's a kind of symbol of friendship. Cats often kiss each other with this gesture when they want to show affection to other felines, but they also do it with other animals they have a trusting relationship with. The slow blink, therefore, is a kind of peace signal. It's like your cat is saying, "I'm calm here with you, I'm happy with your presence, and I can lower my guard." In the feline world, the act of closing the eyes slowly is also associated with a deep state of relaxation. When a cat closes its eyes around you, especially when it feels safe, it's a clear sign that it trusts you enough to let down its guard and be vulnerable. Unlike other animals, which might use their eyes to challenge or intimidate, cats use the blink to show that there's no intention to dominate but rather to approach in a kind and affectionate way. So when your cat looks at you and does that little blink, it's like they're saying, "I'm your friend, I'm comfortable here, and I have no intention of running away or ignoring you." "You're in my circle of trust, and I want you to know that." And more. When you respond by blinking back, you're not only reciprocating the gesture, but you're also reaffirming that mutual trust. It's a beautiful way to strengthen your emotional bond and connection. What's interesting is that this behavior isn't just a recognition of affection, but also a way for cats to build a bond of trust. A cat that gives you this special look usually doesn't do it with strangers. So, if your cat is blinking slowly at you, it's a sign that you have a special place in their heart. It's a way of communicating affection without words, without haste, and in a manner that's almost intangible but deeply meaningful. On a deeper level, this exchange of blinks can even be seen as a way of communicating without threats. In the animal kingdom, especially among predators like cats, keeping your eyes open in a fixed stare can be interpreted as a sign of challenge. By blinking slowly, the cat is avoiding that kind of tension and showing that there's no need for alarm, just harmony and calm. Therefore, if your cat does this, don't hesitate to blink back, and if you want to deepen the connection even more, try doing it very slowly and gently. This subtle yet powerful exchange helps strengthen the bond and creates a mutual trust. Who knows, this simple blinking gesture might even become a daily ritual of silent affection between the two of you. Number 3. Sign of alert or distrust. But be careful, not all intense gazes are a sign of affection. Sometimes, a fixed stare can be a sign of alert or distrust, especially if the cat is in a new environment or near someone unfamiliar. The stare can also be a form of dominance. Among cats, staring directly at another can be a way to establish who is in control of the territory. So, it's important to observe the context, as well as the position of the ears, tail, and even the dilation of the pupils. In situations where a cat feels threatened, uncomfortable, or insecure, it might use a fixed, intense stare as a way to assess what's going on around it. For example, if the cat is in a new place, like during a move, or if it's near a stranger or an unfamiliar animal, the gaze can be a way for the cat to evaluate the situation. It's trying to understand the potential risks and figure out how to react. This intense form of observation is part of the cat's survival instinct, as it tries to gather as much information as possible before making a decision. This behavior is especially common in cats that are naturally more cautious, or in situations where the cat feels it has no control over its environment. Being in an unfamiliar place or near an unknown person or animal can make a cat feel vulnerable. In these moments, the fixed stare is the cat's way of trying to take control of the situation. When a cat stares directly at something or someone without looking away, it's in a state of heightened awareness, preparing to react to whatever comes next. In other words, it's getting ready to either confront or flee, depending on its assessment of the situation. Moreover, the fixed gaze can also be a form of dominance, especially between cats. In the feline world, staring directly into another cat's eyes is a way to assert who is in charge. This behavior is often seen when two cats are disputing territory, food, or access to a particular space. When one cat stares at the other, it's essentially saying, "I'm in control here, and you need to respect that." In response, the challenged cat might look away or even back off, acknowledging the other's dominance. This dynamic is a way for cats to affirm their space and position within their environment. It's important to note that a fixed stare as a sign of distrust can vary depending on the context and other body signals from the cat. To understand whether your cat is genuinely suspicious or just curious, you need to pay attention to more than just its eyes. Also observe the ears. If the cat's ears are turned back or to the sides, it might be feeling uncomfortable. If the ears are flat against the head, the cat may be feeling threatened and ready to react. The tail is another key indicator. A tail held high and relaxed generally signals confidence, while a puffed up or stiff tail can indicate that the cat is feeling threatened or on alert. Additionally, the dilation of the pupils is an important clue. Very dilated pupils can signal excitement or fear, and the cat could be preparing for a confrontation or to flee. So, when you see your cat staring at you intently, it's essential to take the overall context into account, as well as the other signals from its body. Sometimes, the gaze is simply a way of studying the environment, anticipating a reaction, or even a subtle, non-verbal threat. Before trying to interact or approach, check if your cat is comfortable, and watch for any signs that it's feeling alert or distrustful. If that's the case, respect its space and avoid forcing contact. After all, cats, like all animals, prefer to engage when they feel safe and in control of the situation. Number 4. The secret of dilated pupils. Speaking of pupils, did you know that the size of your cat's pupils also changes according to its emotional state? This happens because, unlike humans, cats have much faster control over their pupil size, which allows them to adjust their vision depending on the situation and, of course, the emotion they are feeling at the moment. Dilated pupils can indicate excitement, fear, or even pain. When a cat gets excited, whether it's by playing, seeing potential prey, or even anticipating food, its pupils can dilate, showing that it's fully immersed in the moment. This also happens when the cat is curious or alert, ready to react to a stimulus. For example, if you're playing with your cat with a toy it loves, or if it's observing something moving, like a bird or an insect, its pupils will expand. This happens because cats, as natural hunters, have a primitive instinct to focus their vision and maximize their perception. However, dilated pupils can also be a sign of negative emotional states like fear. If a cat feels threatened or is in a stressful situation, its pupils may dilate as part of the fight or flight response. At this moment, the cat is trying to process as much information as possible so it can decide whether to fight or escape from the threat. Therefore, if your cat has dilated pupils but also appears tense, with its body posture stiff or its fur standing up, it's a sign that it may be scared and needs some extra safety or space. Moreover, dilated pupils can also indicate pain. If your cat is injured or experiencing physical discomfort, it may exhibit pupil dilation as a reflex to the suffering. Pain is often subtle, but when accompanied by other signs of discomfort, such as changes in behavior or loss of appetite, dilated pupils can be an important clue that something is wrong. In this case, it's essential to pay attention to other signs and, if necessary, seek veterinary advice. Narrow pupils can indicate concentration or even irritation. When a cat is intensely focused on something, such as a toy, a movement, or even an interaction with another animal or person, its pupils can constrict as a response to its level of concentration. This is very noticeable when the cat is about to pounce on something or engage in play. At this moment, the narrower pupils help the cat enhance its depth perception and precision in movements. However, narrow pupils can also be a sign of irritation or discomfort. If the cat is becoming frustrated by something, perhaps because it's stuck in a situation it can't escape from, or because it's being bothered in some way, its pupils may narrow. This is usually accompanied by other signs of discomfort, such as ears moving backward, a flicking tail, or a stiff body posture. This type of reaction is the cat's way of preparing to defend itself or escape from the uncomfortable situation. In other words, the cat's gaze is a true emotional thermometer, and the more you observe, the more you will understand what it is feeling. Every slight change in your cat's pupils can be a reflection of its emotional state at that moment, whether it's pleasure, tension, fear, or even pain. This makes the cat's gaze a powerful tool for anyone who wants to better understand their feline companion. Over time, by observing these details, you will start identifying the situations that cause the pupils to dilate or constrict, helping you respond more intuitively to their emotional needs. These observations about your cat's pupils can truly serve as a guide to understanding its behavior and disposition in different situations. So, pay attention to this emotional thermometer, and use it to establish an even deeper and more empathetic relationship with your cat. The more you become attuned to the signals it gives you through its eyes, the easier it will be to create a harmonious and safe environment for them. Number 5. The silent judgment of the sofa. There's also that classic moment when your cat seems to be judging you. It stares at you from the top of the sofa or the bookshelf, with that look as if it knows more than you do. And maybe it does. Jokes aside, this behavior is common because cats are natural observers. They analyze habits, sounds, movements. They are always alert. And if you're the source of food and affection, of course, it's going to pay attention to you. Cats are extremely intelligent animals, and contrary to what many think, they are not as distant or indifferent as they sometimes seem. When your cat watches you like this, from an elevated position, it may be silently analyzing everything you're doing, trying to understand your behavior, your actions, and even your intentions. For your cat, every move you make is a clue to understand what's going on around them. As hunters, this observational posture is instinctive. They need to evaluate what's happening in their environment to decide whether it's safe, interesting, or even beneficial for them. When your cat positions itself in a high spot, like the sofa, the bookshelf, or even a high shelf, it's adopting an advantageous perspective. Besides being a comfortable position that allows them to observe everything from a distance, this height also makes the cat feel more secure. From up there, it can see everything happening without being directly exposed to potential threats. This behavior reflects the cat's instinctive need to protect itself and control what's going on around it. This attentive attitude of observation is also linked to the fact that cats are quite curious and love to learn about their environment. They are constantly watching your reactions, your daily habits, and even what's happening around them, like changes in the routine, the arrival of visitors, or anything new. If you do something repeatedly, like grabbing the food bowl, picking up their favorite toy, or even opening the bathroom door, your cat will notice and begin to associate these actions with outcomes. Usually good ones, like a meal or playtime. This means that when it watches you from above, it's trying to understand your intentions and predict what's going to happen next. This elevated position can also be a way for the cat to communicate with you silently. It might be saying, "I see everything you're doing and I know exactly what's going on here." It observes your routine with a sharp gaze, analyzing every move you make. And of course, since the cat is the owner of the space, it loves the sense of control, both over its own environment and its relationship with you. It may even assess if you're behaving in the way it expects, like the server who brings food or the friend who offers affection. If you're acting predictably, it will feel comfortable, but if something changes, it will be even more alert. Although it may seem like your cat is judging you, this behavior is more related to its investigative nature and desire for control. The cat may even appear superior, but in reality, it's simply seeking information about what you're doing and how it affects its environment. They are exceptional observers with a keen eye and an ability to understand patterns that often surprise us. So, the next time your cat looks at you with that face as if it's judging you from the top of the sofa, remember, it's just analyzing and processing what you're doing to understand its role in the big picture. Number 6. The spiritual gaze of felines. Now, remember that I mentioned at the beginning that there would be an impressive curiosity at the end? Here it is. In some ancient cultures, like in Egypt, it was believed that cats were spiritual beings and that, through their gaze, they could see what humans couldn't, including energies and spirits. That's why that deep, fixed stare was often interpreted as a connection with the invisible world. So, the next time your cat stares at you for a long time, who knows what it might be seeing? Number 7. What your cat's gaze says about you. And look, if you've made it this far, it's because you love understanding more about feline behavior. So, leave a comment below. What does your cat's gaze seem to say? Is it intense, observant, or more shy and discreet? Before I wrap up, don't forget, hit the like button on this video, share it with someone who has a cat too, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, because we release new videos every week with curiosities, tips, care, and everything about the amazing world of cats. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and the next time your cat stares at you, remember this video. See you next time, and a loving meow for you and your kitty.